I'll just kind of launch into it.
Awesome.
You ready for me?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'll
Okay.
just take a few minutes. We got about, just so that you know, we got about 62 people on with us live right now. So just to let everybody know, we're having a little bit of a technical issue where Micki's at in California. Apparently, the internet provider has shut their entire neighborhood down. And so we're going to make do with what we have. Just keep the show rolling. For those of you that have taken the time today to participate, feel free to ask questions. You can type them over in the Zoom chat. I'll be keeping an eye on that as she talks, and then we'll open it up at the end for a more open discussion as well. So, Micki, why don't you start by introducing yourself and telling everybody about your background, and then tell us what we need to be doing right now while we got some downtime.
Yeah. So I'm Micki with Micki Woods Marketing. And some of you may already know me. I'm a writer for Body Shop Business Magazine. So I do a lot of articles in there on marketing and processes and procedures and all that kind of fun stuff. So basically the way I started in the industry is I used to be a body shop owner myself. So that was back in 2007. So it's been a minute. But I was a shop owner, and a year after I purchased my shop, the recession hit. So I feel like I feel the pain that my body shop owners are going through. I work with body shops across the country, and it's an awesome experience to be able to see what different shops are doing. Everybody's got different needs and different goals, and it's really neat to help each one of my shop owners grow their business and expand and really think outside the box. But with all of this kind of shit hitting the fan kind of thing, I feel like I've been here, I've done this. And for those of you that have owned businesses back when the recession hit, you know the feeling. It brings back all those same memories. And so I appreciate what you're going through and the stress you guys are going through right now. And so when I was basically was half dealership driven, half DRP driven. And in 2010, the dealership, Cost Automotive Group, that was sending work my way, decided they wanted to take this opportunity while body shops were going under and purchase their own shop, and just rather than sublet the work, they just keep it all for themselves. So it cut my business in half, literally overnight. So talk about having to be flexible and changing things up real quick. Kind of like what we're dealing with today, where things really, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like the shops I'm working with, things just changed literally overnight. Like, boom, what the heck just happened? So I went through that myself, and this is a little bit different, but I wanted to bring some tips and ideas to you guys to be able to help you get through this and make the best of the situation. So I have some pretty funny slides. I wish that you guys could see them, but basically, 90% of the world right now is just sitting back and thinking, what the heck is going on? And they're sitting on their couches and they're plugged into the news. They're scrolling Instagram and Facebook and drinking beers and getting fat and eating chips and just kind of watching the world go by. And my feeling is, this is an opportunity. This is not something to look at and be just horrified where the fight, flight, or freeze. A lot of people are just freezing. Like, they don't know what to do. So they're just freezing where they're at. So my idea is, this is an opportunity for everybody that wants to maximize the opportunity to take it. This is an opportunity. It's Bruce Lee said, to hell with circumstances. I create opportunities. And you guys, this is an opportunity. No time in life are you going to have time like you got time right now. We always are so busy doing a bazillion things, and we think, oh my God, I wish I just had more time to do things. Well, now you got the time. You might not have wanted it, but you've got it. So let's take advantage of it. My motto in my business is, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I work with all my clients, and we really we figure out what your goal is. And every shop has different goals, really. I mean, the ultimate goal is obviously be successful, be profitable. But really, what is your goal? Do you want to decrease cycle time? Do you want to have better CSI scores? All this kind of stuff. Right now, we have a common shared goal. And our goal right now is to be able to sustain and to at least continue doing some sort of business. And some of you guys aren't even doing any business. And that's okay too. But to be able to survive it. So when the lights do get to come back on. People do get to be going out and shopping and back to their normal routines. You know, we're good to go. That's our goal right now. So what is our plan? Because otherwise that goal is just a wish, and we become like the guy sitting on the couch, just, you know, covered in chocolate and chips and beer. So I was looking online and talking with some shops around the country and seeing what everybody was doing. And I'm collaborating with my shops that I'm working with. And Premier Coach Auto Collision Group, they have a shop in Camarillo and Thousand Oaks out in Ventura County in California, and I work closely with them. And the team at Premier Coach is offering right now a touchless process. And I've seen a few people doing their own spins on this kind of thing, and you know, different organizations doing different things. But I wanted to give you guys some ideas of what some shops are doing, so you can see if maybe those would fit with what you got going on. Only you know your business best. But I figure let's give you some ideas so you can see what other people are doing. You can pick and choose and see what resonates with you and your team. So Premier Coach is doing the touchless process. Basically how it works is their client or their guests drive up, and when they drive up in their car, they've got a sign that says, "Please, guests, please stay in your car, call us," although they have, you know, ceiling to floor windows they can see. The rider comes out, or the CSR comes out in gloves and a mask. The guest stays in their vehicle. They come out to the vehicle, greet them, say hi at their 6-foot distance per the CDC, letting people feel totally comfortable, totally safe, because right now people are afraid. So let's really meet them and help them feel like they trust us, and we build that relationship. You know, so much of marketing is relationship marketing is what I call it. So take the opportunity right now to kind of meet people where they need to be met. So with this process, the riders, the CSRs are going out to these cars and they're saying hi. They're getting some very basic information, you know, the customer's name, a guest name, you know, that kind of stuff. They'll get the VIN number. The guest turns over their cars, actually put them in a Ziploc bag. Then the customer or the guest is free to leave, and they leave right then and there. And Premier Coach actually set something up with Enterprise, and so Enterprise is now doing a touchless process for the Premier Coach guest. So if the guest needs a vehicle and Enterprise is called, Enterprise has already disinfected that vehicle. The vehicle arrives, the rental arrives with a steering wheel cover, with a seat cover, with floor mats, with a gear shift cover. So the guests can comfortably get in a vehicle and feel good about it, so they can get back home safely and feel comfortable, again, about the process. The rider on their end, the second they get those keys, they get sanitized. On their end, they're doing the steering wheel cover, seat cover, floor cover, gear shift cover, all that kind of stuff. Pop in the car, it goes in the shop, and then on the shop side, all the guys are working with gloves and masks and all the safety equipment. Before it's delivered, the vehicle is disinfected, all of the covers are removed, obviously the sanitized keys are returned. So when the guest comes back to pick up the vehicle, they can just pop right back in the vehicle. Any documents are all signed. Kristen did a webinar, I think it was on Monday. What are we at, Tuesday? Yesterday, I think it was. And she talked about the DocuSign. A lot of my shops use DocuSign. It's a great, great tool to use. Clients, customers, guests are able to sign anything that you need virtually. Kristen also did something on using some things like Zoom, like we're using right now, and hope to God you don't have issues like we're having. But there are a lot of options out there where you can virtually connect with your guests. You can do stuff over FaceTime, Zoom, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what Premier Coach is doing. I know that Penske Transportation posted on their LinkedIn, and they're doing like their team, their shift huddles. They had a picture posted that I would show you. But the picture's posted, and they're in a shift huddle, and all the guys are spread out in their warehouse. Guys and gals are spread out in the warehouse, and they're having their meeting before they all head out on the road. And these guys, for their employees, they clean out and disinfect the whole cab of the interior of the truck. And there's actually a sign posted on the window, which I think is a great idea also, maybe even offering that for your guests upon pickup. Just a printed out sign saying this vehicle has been disinfected and is good to go kind of deal. It shows a female driver getting in the cab of her truck to head out. She's got her gloves on, ready to go. We've got Louisville Collision Center. So Steve Olson had posted on LinkedIn, and I reached out to him, and they're doing, they're doing pickup and delivery for their guests. So the guest doesn't even necessarily need to leave their house if they don't want to. They can call, and they arrange to be able to drive out there. They can do an estimate right in front of these people's houses if they need to. They can do it over FaceTime or something like that. They're promoting estimates at our center while you stay in the car, estimates through FaceTime and photo app. We will come to you for your estimate. So there's a lot of options that you guys can be doing. I feel like in the auto body world, for so long, we've done what we do because this is the way we do it. Well, now is the time to set yourself apart. Are you going to be a shop owner that just does stuff because this is the way you've always done it? Because if you are, you're really going to struggle right now. And not that you're not going to struggle otherwise, but these are some things that you can put in place to really give yourself a leg up and be what your guests and your customers need you to be right now. And that is flexible. I mean, try to go to the grocery store out in California. You got to wait 6 feet apart when you're checking out. You know, they put a plexiglass thing in front of you. So everybody is being flexible and everybody's shifting. So I would encourage you to put some of these things in place if you don't already have them. If nothing else, for the comfort of your guests feeling and for their safety. You know, it is for their safety and it's for your employees' safety also. Your employees want to feel safe. So what are you doing for them? And all of these protective measures protect not only your guests, but your employees as well, which is super important. So right now, I guess I'll just open it up real quick. If anybody has some questions on any of that, or you want to share maybe something that you guys are doing that you found is helpful and share with some of the other people on the call. Kristen, do you see anything in the chat if anybody's got questions?
No questions so far. I think everyone's just listening intently.
Hopefully I'm not boring you guys to death. I feel like I'm rattling on and on.
No?
Okay, so if you guys have questions, then feel free to ask questions even at the end. When we're done, we can kind of backtrack, or if you think of something you've seen done, maybe at even like a restaurant or a store or whatever, that you think we could translate into the auto body world. Now's the time. I think it's a great opportunity. Again, I use the word opportunity for us to all come together in this industry and be helping each other. You know, that's really the ultimate goal. That's what I love about the auto industry. I work with a lot of automotive shops, but I work with a lot of other industries also. And I'll tell you that body shop. Oh, I just got muted. Okay, thank you. One thing about body shops is, you know, we are a big family. At the end of the day, I don't like what he's doing. They're trying to steal my VRP, and, you know, we get frustrated, whatnot. But at the end of the day, I love how this community really comes together. So anyway, if you guys have anything to share, I think everybody'd love to hear it. But we'll go ahead and move forward. So some marketing ideas that you can be doing, because again, right now, you've got time. So let's be working on some of these things. So one of the things, if you have any promotional products that you already have at your shop, think about ways that you might be able to share those things with your partners, meaning whether those are, maybe you partner up with some schools, some staff. I know it's different in every state who's around and not around, but if you have bottled water, for instance, if you've got some notepads, pens, if you have dealership accounts, you can have somebody go drop off a box with some notepads and pens with your with your logo's name on it, and have them use those. And again, it is to promote yourself, but you're also wanting to be a good partner and be there for them. I know those people, at least in California, where I visit dealerships a couple times a week. Those guys that are in the service drive, there's only one or two, and they're lonely over there. So to pop in and say hi as a partner and be like, hey, we're here. You need anything, let us know. Drop off, here's some notepads, here's some pens, here's some phone charger, you know, whatever you got, some hats, whatever. That really lends to the relationship. I have a funny story. So on the bottled water front, we had been trying to, Premier Coach had been trying to get some bottled water in over at one of their dealership accounts. And they said, you know, hey, we got bottled water. We'll put your logo on, our logo on. We'll give you pallets of them. It'll be great. And they're like, nah, no. And they kind of hemmed and hawed, and we really couldn't get anywhere. And I was working on this guy for a long time, the GM, to try to get him in there. And they were like, well, maybe, I don't know. Well, when Costco ran out of water, guess who they called? So guess whose waters are now over there to service their guests? So it's funny right now how the tide has changed. Things have shifted. Again, talking about opportunities arise, be there. So again, you know your shop, you know your partners. What can you be providing them? I don't know. Hopefully you got a pad and pen and you're writing down some notes of things pop into your mind. Another thing is, again, you've got some time. Look over your CSI scores. Look over some feedback you've gotten via email or your Yelp reviews or whatever, and let's take a little bit of time to identify some of your customers' pain points. Where have things gone awry, and are you seeing some type of consistency with, gosh, looking back on these things, it seems like we got a lot of paint problems. Oftentimes when we're working in our shop, we're so busy in our shop, it's hard sometimes to take a step back and look at things as a big whole, a whole picture. So being able to take a little bit of time and looking through a different lens to be able to see, okay, hey, look, we're getting a lot of people that are upset with the quality control. People are picking up their vehicles. I'm seeing a lot of things where they're making notes or making CSI comments, whatever. Their text replies are, we picked the car up, it was dirty, or, it's my floor mats were gross. And you know what? I never noticed this before, but in the last, few months, God, I've seen about 5 people say something like that. And I never really paid attention, because when you're busy, a lot of these things just kind of fly under the radar. We're busy. Well, now you're not so busy. So you have a chance to take a peek at these things. Where are those pain points? And it gives you, again, the opportunity to be able to talk with your staffing to rectify these things, because you will get busy again. Things will resume again. So when you do, let's find those pain points and fix them so you can ramp right back up again and be better than you were before. I think that's ideal ultimately. Another point to talk about is, unfortunately, there are some shops right now that have had to close, and some of them will stay closed. They just don't have the cash flow. For me, when I went through things during the recession, I didn't have the cash flow to be able to maintain for the long haul. Now, this is what we're dealing with right now. It's a shorter term thing, but it's still a problem. And there are shops that don't have much cash flow, and unfortunately, they will fold during this. And there will be some really great quality employees out there looking for work. And I know that the quality, you all know this, trying to find good quality employees is very, very difficult. So if you can find if you've got people out there that are looking for jobs, even if it's just in the interim, because the shop closed until things ramp back up again, and then they're going to open back up. So even if they're willing to come and help you out for a few weeks or whatever, I don't know, but take advantage the fact that there are a lot of employees back in the market going to be looking for homes again. So if you're able to be open and you've got the cash flow to be able to bring some of these people on, or at least kind of earmark them and say, hey, if you're interested, kind of throw your hat out there and say, if you're ever interested, I'd love to have you on my team. Like I said, employment seems to be a big issue I deal with my clients, and that is across the country. And I know it's hard to find good people. So if there's some people out there that are available, unfortunately, but fortunately, now's the time to snag a few, potentially for yourself. Another thing to talk about is screen time. What is everybody doing right now? Why is my internet probably down? Because every freaking person in America is on the internet. So typically, for my body shop, I'm not a big advocate of social media. I did a YouTube video on it. I have a lot of different YouTube videos. If you guys want to go check them out, it's Micki Woods Marketing. And you can look for the one on social media, and I shoot it to you straight on how I feel about social media and shops and how much money and time they should be spending there. I typically don't think you guys should be spending a lot of time on social media, but I tell you what, talk about opportunity. Right now, people are sitting home, scrolling, checking their emails. They are on screen time. I'd love to see what that number is, because it's got to be huge. Take advantage of them being on these platforms. Now, it's tricky with the algorithm with Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff. If they're not following you and liking a bunch of your stuff, you're not just going to start populating everybody's feeds. We can talk about that more on another call, but it is a time to, if nothing else, let people know, let the public know you're open and that you are there. Yay, there it is. Let them know that you're there, that you're doing things for their safety. You can be pushing your branding out. And I would say right now, if you don't already have somebody handling social media, you can be pushing it out to LinkedIn, if that's what you're comfortable doing, to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you're in a group, or your wife's in a group, your husband's in a group, or your office manager's in a group, we have like the Conejo Valley moms where I live, and it's like 2,500 women in this group. Heck, that's a great place for somebody to go post. If you got some other group, Porsche aficionados group, something like that, post it out there. We're a Porsche certified shop. We are open. We are here to serve you. We got this process for your safety. Now is the time to share, because we're not getting a lot of face-to-face time, which is the way in our industry we like to work. So now is the time to digitally be pushing it out. I also recommend that you're emailing all of your insurance reps, letting them know what's going on, messaging your agents. If you're dealership driven, then talking to your dealerships, talking to the service managers, talking to your salespeople. I'm seeing that a lot of my businesses, that a lot of my shops that are doing really well, the reason why they're doing really well is because other shops have decided to just kind of shut down while things are being real quiet. And it's almost by default that they're getting a lot of business. So they're able to keep the lights on and keep the employees going. So if you've got that opportunity and you are one of the ones that's able to keep going right now, put that out there. Let people know. There's even apps like the Nextdoor app and things like that where you can communicate with neighbors. So again, get some of your staff, start pushing that message out. Create a nice email, push it out to your professional partners, your DRPs, all that kind of stuff. We can click to the next slide, Kristen.
Micki, one thing I was going to add here, I heard from a shop last week I thought it was a really great idea, and I felt really bad that it wasn't my great idea. But the shop had contacted the local schools because the schools are out, and had basically said, hey, how about we help with activities and make some videos from the shop. Math class was teaching like frame measuring and suspension, and how you do wheels and tires and get suspension measurements, and it's all math, and how to a business class, and so the teachers are trying to figure out what to do with these kids, and this shop was like, can we make content to help you educate kids that teaches them what we do. Now that shop was looking at it from a how to attract more kids to the collision industry, but I thought, God, that's a great marketing opportunity, because the kids are having to watch YouTube videos. My kids right now are being told to watch YouTube videos and make reports on them, because bless the teachers' hearts. I don't know, but I just thought that was a really good idea. I thought, man, what a smart shop to take advantage of that in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even, if you've got water bottles or things like that, you can take them to your schools, your local schools, because there are people in those offices manning the main offices. So you can there's a lot of ways to connect without having to connect, within that 6-foot radius. But yeah, that's a great idea, Kristen. Thank you for sharing that. So we'll move on to something else. So I wrote an article for Body Shop Business Magazine. It was actually the first article of mine that I sent to them, and they loved it and published it. It was called What Women Really Want, which was the kicker, because we knew a lot of people would read that. What women really want, ... from your auto body shop. So and I wrote the article because as a female, you have to think about over 50% of your guests are female. So, and females tend to like different things. They care about different things than males do. It's just science. It's just science. It's just the way things work. Typically, not always, but typically. And most women don't grow up with, where the dad could potentially be showing the son how to change the oil or change the tire on a car and talking about automotive stuff. That's not typically a female thing. Now, some of us have some dads that have talked to us about more about that stuff than others, but oftentimes men are a little bit more comfortable when they go into an auto body shop or a repair facility of any kind. So I thought, what's a way that we can kind of cater to more of the feminine side of things? And in writing the article, it's really, when you take a step back, it's really, what does everybody care about? It's not a woman thing. It's just a thing. So, one of the things was, when you arrive somewhere, you don't know where to go. Oftentimes we come to our shops every day. We're there all day. We live there. We're there more often than we're at home. So we oftentimes look over things that are really important to people that are just visiting for the first time, and they're already overwhelmed. They just got into an accident. They're pissed off. They're frustrated. They're scared. They're nervous, whatever. So one of the big things that I notice is when oftentimes you drive into a shop, there's not any signage. So like this is a client of mine, Fix Auto in Burbank, and what a great shop. He joined Fix, super excited, painted the building. It looked gorgeous, great curb appeal. Inside the office looks great. We'll just see another slide. And I drove up and I'm like, I don't know where to go. Did they move, is the office? I'm not sure. So if you click it, I think it'll change on here. So my suggestion is, so it adds an office. So we added an office sign. I told Gary, let's paint a sign on here with an arrow and show people where's the office. Where do they need to go? And people need to know when they pull into your driveway, is the office clear? Where do they need to walk into? Are they supposed to wait in their car? Where are they supposed to park? Most people don't have to, what do they say? Once in every 7 years when he gets into an accident. And sometimes even longer. Well, then you've got your regulars, but excluding those people, they need to know where to go. So lay it out for them, make it easy. So they know right where they need to park, right where they need to walk into. It's important. And then when they walk in, the appearance of your front office, that's super important also. And again, this isn't just a female thing, although, females have a tendency to be more sensitive to the Bondo dust that's laying around on everything, because we just notice these things because we're typically more of the cleaners in the house, and this isn't a sexist thing. This is just a thing. And so I recommend my shops that are more proactive with these things. People notate that on the CSIs. Wow, everything was so clean. The chairs were so nice, and everything just looks so. And it's because they're cleaning. They're wiping everything off. Not just the counters, but the clipboards. They have fingerprints all over them because writers and everything. You're touching everything, and you're grimy, and you got fingerprints on the clipboards and everything. Wipe those suckers off. Make sure you got a clean pen for them. Wipe off the chairs. You got pictures hanging. How many layers of dust are on those pictures? So I even have, for my clients that can afford it, and some can't, so they just designate somebody in the office to be the cleaning person. But if you have the finances for it, and obviously maybe not right now, but in the future, to hire a cleaning crew that comes in once a week and they just do a full deep clean. You don't realize how much dust is in that shop because we live in those shops and we just almost become immune to it. But when you get a cleaning crew come in there and vacuum that stuff up and wipe things off, and you come in when they're done, you're like, holy cow, it's amazing. So anyway, that's something that you can be thinking about now. Again, you've got a little bit of time, walk around, take a peek. Literally, you could put on, you don't even need, you put on a white glove or something, take your finger and wipe it over things and go, God, how dusty is my office? I've never really looked at it that way. Walk around. You will really be surprised at how much dust is on everything. Okay, we can switch that slide. Okay, decor. This is another thing. Now is the time. We oftentimes there are different shops, and again, I'm sure Kristen, you saw it, being insurance shop owners. If you worked in one shop, you've probably seen other shops. Some shops are just more aesthetically pleasing than others. And customers in our day and age have really high expectations. I feel like ever since Yelp and Google came around and people are able to review, the critiques have gone through the roof. And one thing, well, not one thing, but there are a few things that we can do that are inexpensive that help keep things elevated for your guests when they come in. And first and foremost, put a fresh coat of paint on. You don't probably have many customers walking through your front office right now. Now would be a great time, especially if you're a shop where you're not even letting people come in. Paint it. Paint that sucker. You probably got handprints and shoe prints and scuff marks that have been there for years. And again, you look past them because you see them every day. It's like wallpaper. Now's a great time to slap a fresh coat of paint on that thing. If you've got some mini blinds that are raggedy, which maybe you do, because I even know some of my shops that have beautiful paint and everything, for some reason, those dang mini blinds get hideous so quick. those are real inexpensive to change. You can find those online, swap those suckers out. If you got pictures, straighten the dang pictures, walk around and look at them and just straighten them up. Again, we live with it. We pass right by it. But I'm telling you, when a guest walks in that door, they see things through a totally different lens than we are seeing things because we're in them every day. Straighten pictures, clean things, things like it makes a big, big difference on the whole psyche of the experience. And really that's what we're trying to deliver, right? Yeah, we want safety, we want good quality repair. We want them to have a great experience because the experience is what brings the value and it brings them back time and time again. When you've got your customers start coming back into your office, find some fresh plants, even if it's just one, and put it up on that front desk. A fresh plant, as silly as that may seem, will just brighten the space and give a whole sense of freshness. Okay, we can go to the next slide there. I know you probably hear about this, whether we're going through COVID-19 or whatever, but you're probably already telling your writers, go over the repair process with people. Don't just process them, go over it. But again, time, now your writers have no excuse. There is time to sit on the phone with these people and explain. If you're going to do a Zoom call like this and share your screen, and again, you can watch Kristen's thing that she did where she talks you through on how to utilize that for your shop. Walk them through it, help them understand, let your writers get used to slowing down for a second, because your guests, your customers will really appreciate it, so they really understand. Giving them a solid timeline, which we always want to do anyway. But again, we're just building that relationship, showing them that they're just not another number. We're not just trying to get them through, to get their car back as fast as possible, that we really care about them, their experience, the whole thing. Okay, next one. Kids. So do you have a kids area? So this is Valley Motor Center's customer care area, whatever we called it, customer care center, back in the day when Valley Motor Center was open. And I was the marketing manager here after I owned my shop. Marsh, the owner of Valley Motor Center, has since passed away. God bless his soul. He was an amazing man. If you knew him, you're better because of it. And one of the things he had in his waiting area was in that back corner. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's just a little plastic table with a couple little plastic stools with a few little toys on there, so that when parents came in, again, kind of the mom thing, because it's usually the mom schlepping the kids, but even the dads would come in with their kids, and those kids would run right over to that thing. Now, talking about germs and cleanliness, this is something you'd really have to be on top of, keeping clean, especially right now. But it's something to think about for the future. Do you even have space for something like that? Think about it. It really, the guest experience a lot better when they don't have to worry about little Timmy running off and bothering one of the writers or trying to run out the door. They can go sit down while, you know, the guest is filling out their paperwork or waiting for the vehicle to drive up to go over delivery. It's a nice little option to have. So think about it. Maybe that would work in your shop. Maybe not. Maybe you have a coloring page for the little guys to be able to color, or maybe you have made some little toy cards and put your logo on them, some promotional item for the kids to play with. Well, they're sitting doing nothing and they're not getting rambunctious and driving your whole staff nuts. You know, if you're on a budget, which oftentimes we are, and especially right now, you could even just print out your letterhead. Just put your logo on the top of a piece of paper. You could buy some crayons that are in like a little clear pack with like a few crayons. You can buy a box of those, and let the kids just sit over there and just color and doodle. They take it home because, of course, kids have to take their artwork everywhere they go. And now they've taken something home with your letterhead on it. But so you now provided something nice for the guests, but you're also, it's a marketing tool for you. And we can switch slides. And we'll end with this one. Dun, dun, dun. The bathroom. Why are the bathrooms and body shops always so freaking gross? You know, some of my shops they've spent the money, they've spent the time, and they've spruced up their bathrooms, and they look really nice. And other ones look just like this picture. I had a shop, and I won't name the name, it was a long time ago. And the first time I went and met with him, I walked in and it looked like this. I mean, I was sitting in there between cleaning supplies and all kinds of other, it was like a storage thing with the toilet there. And I was like, Okay, I just can't even. So time to spruce that bitch up. Now is the time. Again, you got the time. This is one kicker. Going back to Valley Motor Center, Marsh, when he took over Valley Motor Center, he understood the importance of a nice bathroom. So the guy spent, I don't remember if it was like 10, 20, 15,000. I mean, it was a lot of money. And he spruced up this bathroom and made it look like a freaking showroom. I mean, he took it to the nth degree, and I'm not suggesting that, but I'm just saying this thing was so nice. It had like granite countertops and a little seating area and was freshly tiled. They had a lotion dispenser, hand sanitizer dispenser. I mean, he had like a little coat rack in there. They put up really pretty pictures. You did not feel like you're in a body shop, let me tell you. And we had insurance people that weren't even our DRPs, that maybe used to work with like, you know, one of our DRPs and then went and worked with somebody else. They'd come by and say hi just to use the bathroom. And like, we just had to come by and use this bathroom. It's the nicest one in the whole, there is no place else, you know, and they just pop in, use the bathroom and leave. And that's kind of gross, but I'm telling you, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So that made that much of an impact on insurance guys writing around, insurance adjusters. Imagine what it does for your guests when they got a nice place to go and just use the restroom real quick. So again, the paint is a quick and cheap thing to do, to repaint it, and not just like a stark white. Give it some like soft color. Change out your lighting, for God's sake. Oftentimes you walk in, you turn on the light, and it's like got 3 bulbs up in the ceiling and one barely working, and the fan's rattling, and you're like, ugh, and it's like you can barely see, and these poor people are already, their nerves are on edge. So you can easily, again, change out a light fixture, change the paint. God, just those 2 things alone, winning. If you're able to get some decent quality toilet paper, that's always a nice little plus too. Putting in an air freshener that just has a nice smell, that doesn't smell like bleach or pine sol or patchouli or something gross, you know, something that actually smells nice that you'd want to use in your home. And then if you're able to do like a little lotion or hand sanitizer up on the counter with the soap, and please keep the soap filled, for God's sake, and have some paper towels to dry your hands off with. At least in this picture, they've got some paper towels on that roll, thank God. There's not a lot of times I've gone into shops and walked in and used the restroom, and I go to dry my hands and I'm like, well, now what? So it's, you know, it's the little things that really make a big difference for our guests. And again, it's creating that experience for them. So you can flip that slide. So those are my tips that I kind of came up with. And I think right now is a great time to kind of go over some of these little easier things to do. It's not brain science, not rocket science, but you know, there's 3 categories we fall under, right? There's the critics, we're just kind of the thinkers. We're just thinking and we're just critiquing what everybody's doing. And look at that big long line. And then we've got our talkers, and the talkers sit around, they talk about all the great things that they want to do. And yeah, and then I'm going to do this, and then we should do that, and then we should do this. And everybody just sits and they just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then we've got the doers. And I love the doer line because it's not there. So they're all doing. They're not just critiquing. They're not just talking. They're actually doing. So, you know, in times of change, we find greater flexibility and reception for the new ideas and approaches that are being sent our way. So now is the time to grasp that flexibility, be flexible. Don't just think about it. Don't just criticize what other people are doing. Don't just talk about it with your teams. I applaud each and every one of you for even being on this call, because that's a doer thing to do. To take some time out of the middle of the day and sit and listen to some girl you can't even see. You know, you're a doer right now. You are doing. So take some of these tips, whether it be something you get from one of my webinars or somebody else's. Take them and run and do something and be better because of it. You know, unlock that creativity within you. So anyway, I think that's it. I might have something after that. I don't know. Oh, this is just me. So a lot of people just ask, you know, Micki, what is it? What is it that you do? I get that asked a lot. So like, what is it that you do? Like, I know you help shops and everything. So I do marketing, I do business coaching, business development specialist. We sit down and go over your goals and create that strategy. So we don't just think it, we're actually planning out a strategy. And then, you know, website design, branding, logo design, SEO, ads, all that kind of stuff. And we'll talk about more of some of those specifics in some upcoming webinars I have coming up, which I'm really excited to go over with you guys. too, we'll be doing one on OE certifications, kind of is your shop ready for OE certs. We'll be doing that coming up, and then marketing your OE certs. We'll be doing one on relationship marketing, basically setting yourself apart specifically from the big guys, from the calibers and all those big consolidators that come in. How can you separate yourself and be better because of it? And then we'll also do one on taking your marketing to the next level, where we do talk about SEO and your branding and the ads and stuff like that. So I don't know, is there anything past that one? I forget how long I made this thing.
Yeah, I think that's the last one.
It?
Is the next level. So we finish it off at the end of the month with hopefully on a high note, right?
Yeah, exactly. Taking it to the next level.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, or, I haven't been watching the chat at all. I've just literally been walking away.
In the chat, there were some good suggestions from some people that had typed in. Just when you talked about promotional items you may have, Diana, basically they've taken their pens and given them to the restaurants, because a lot of the restaurants are letting people sign for stuff and then they don't want the pen back. I
love it. Great idea.
Then, the stylist tip one's taking those to the to people at banks that aren't wanting to touch things. They're using those stylus pens to check out and do some stuff.
Yeah.
And then a really good mention from Robert that a lot of the parts, there's a lot of vendors out there, and I'll throw insurers in that too. I remember at State Farm, I had really great coloring books and teddy bears. But there are some vendors out there that have coloring books and coloring pages available. There's also some stuff I'll mention you can download from just Google that are collision repair themed coloring book pages. So you can download those and just make copies yourself and hand them to kids that are out there. That's kind of interesting. And then pop sockets. I have pop sockets for Collision Hub. Oh my God, I love pop sockets. So I realized one day I can buy them for about 36 cents a piece with my logo on them, or I can go to Best Buy and pay $10 for some crazy one that someone's setting. So I started buying pop sockets. That was really good.
I will say, I love the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I would say this right now that, it's extremely tough. All of Collision Hub's clients, a lot of our OEs and paint companies and whatever, everybody's got budget freezes now and everything. So it's a good time to start looking at things in your business you've always wanted to do but never had time, whether that's inventing a new position. Maybe you've thought about putting a diagnostic technician in, but you've never had time. Great way to start thinking about that. If you've thought about moving your techs and your employees off of commission and flat rate and onto salary or hourly, now's a great time to start kind of working on those plans and putting that in place. And then I will tell you one thing, service departments at dealerships are in an all-time panic right now. And it's a great time for you to have a conversation with a dealership about scanning and calibration. That before, that service manager might not have taken the time to meet with you or might not have taken you seriously. But as a shop, your ability, if you are outsourcing OEM scanning and you're not using a pass-through tool, to go and meet with those people and remind them of all the money that they should have been making scanning and calibrating cars based on who their parts department is selling to. So when I talked to a dealer last week and said, go over and ask your parts department how many different shops that they're selling to. Okay, those were all potential recalibration and scanning jobs for you that didn't come in. Building that rapport now may mean that they refer to you later, specifically if you choose dealerships that don't have body shops. So we've just recently seen one dealership here in town change who they were referring to based on OEM requirements. They realized the shop that they had been referring to wasn't meeting OEM requirements, and now they're referring to a different repairer in town. And it's been some okay business. He's getting, it's not where it used to be, but it's definitely bringing a few cars in the door. So now's the time to have that sit down with that service manager or a dealership principal or somebody, because they got time now to talk to. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly it. Right now, you've got the time. You have the time to assess all these things that, like you said, you had been thinking about before, or now's the time to be exploring it. That's why I always like to see when I take on a shop, what are your competitors doing? What's everybody else out here doing? You know, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. I do recommend you think outside the box a little bit, but what are people doing right now? And that's why it's nice to be able to see what other shops are doing. I love that everybody's sharing because, you know, again, we're all here to help each other out. And one thing I did want to say about, you know, if you do download some things off the internet that you print out, like for, you know, automotive related, like coloring pages, because I'm marketing, my brain's always on branding. So if you can get somebody to put your logo, or you can find a way to put your logo on the top of that coloring sheet before you print it out, do that. It's all about branding. But yeah, any opportunity, again, now is the opportunity for all kinds of change and all kinds of shifts that we might not have done otherwise. And I think that's really cool to think about. We might have kept going, and God only knows what would have had to have happened to get us to change, where now we can look back and go, you know what, that was actually a blessing in disguise. We revamped a lot of things, and now look how much better we are. Look at our numbers now. Bang. You know, next year we could be doing these webinars and people are like, man, look at what we did. We had been doing this and now we're doing this, all because we shifted X, Y, Z.
Yeah. Got a comment on here from Josh who commented, Micki, that he's taken this time to work on updating all of their SOPs and in-shop processes, and that this downtime is going to let them work things in slowly so that everything will be fully integrated and ready to roll when it ramps back up again. So that's super awesome forethought there, Josh. That's going to pay dividends.
Exactly.
And that's 100%. Now's a good time to clean besides cleaning the office, now's a good time to clean the shop. Get rid of all those tools you hadn't touched in 20 years, and empty those cabinets you haven't opened in 10, and, you know,
right?
Make sure everything's spiffy.
Yeah, well, you think about it. If you think about us all being racers, you know, we're getting ready to run a race, and we can see the guy's walking up, and he's going to shoot his gun for, you know, to get us all off the line, right? And we can see him walking towards us, and he's got the gun in hand. So we're all kind of getting poised. So when that gun goes off and everything gets released and goes back to normal, what are we doing right now as he's walking back with that gun in hand, ready to shoot it off? What are we doing to prepare ourselves? So when he shoots that gun, we are in position, ready to sprint. We are not just like, oh, okay, it's time to go, huh? And we're not the ones sitting back going, okay, well, I guess just back to the way we always were doing it before. No, we want to be ready to sprint and cleaning out things, changing up your SOPs, working with vendors, working with your dealership, stuff like that to set yourself up. That's what I'm talking about. That's huge business growth. That is opportunity.
Yeah. So Ken asked where I got the pop sockets. Ken asked where I got the pop sockets from. I ordered them offline. I just Googled pop sockets one night. I think I got them from, what's the name of that company? My mind's gonna go blank. It's like Custom Ink, I think is the name of the company. I think that's what it's called. And they had a pop socket special, and I just uploaded my Repair University logo, and 2 weeks later I got 1,000 pop sockets delivered. And it broke out to like 36 cents a piece. But just Google custom pop sockets and 1,000 different options will pop up. But I believe mine was through a company called Custom Ink. They also make our t-shirts as well. So awesome. Well, and I will tell you, I get asked for those everywhere I go. When I show up at SEMA every year, like enterprise people come up and go, hey, you got any more of those pop sockets? I feel like I'm a drug dealer almost. So, all right. Well, no, tomorrow is a double header webinar day. So it starts at 10 a.m. Central Time in the morning with Mike Anderson. He's going to be talking about shop performance matrix and how you can use ARMS free, the ARM system from Enterprise, which will be free as a system of sort of like a body shop management software tool. So you can get a lot of KPI style numbers and get a lot of information about what other shops in your market are doing through that tool. And so he's going to teach you how to use it as a research tool and to judge yourself where you're at. And then later that afternoon, Jason will be back with Opus, which bought and is now the owner of Drew Technologies. So you guys probably know it as Drew Technologies as a scan tool, an OEM pass-through style tool like Aztec or AirPro. Opus is a huge company in the ADAS technology and sensor making, and they're Europe. They're a large entity. They'll be on at 1 o'clock tomorrow to talk about scanning and diagnostics best practices for collision repair. So that should be a really interesting conversation. They've got a couple of engineers that'll be joining Jason and doing some talk. So jam-packed day tomorrow. And then Micki, you're back with us next week?
Yep.
Yep.
On the 9th.
Yeah, Micki's back on the 9th.
Hopefully you'll be able to see me then.
Yeah, I mean I tell you what, the internet. You and Jason yesterday. It's like the internet's not cooperating with me here. We'll be posting the replay up. I'm gonna edit in the rest of her slides. The presentation got to me through snail mail halfway through. I'm gonna edit this up, make it all nice and pretty, put it up on replay. So you'll get to see those funny pictures that she had from the beginning.
Cool.
Awesome. I'm gonna stop this share. And then I will see everybody tomorrow. If you have questions or there's something that comes to your mind later, you've got Micki's contact information. We shared it there. It's just Micki, M-I-C-K-I at MickiWoodsMarketing.com. Send her any questions that you have, and she'll take care of them, or you can reach us at Collision Hub, and we'll be happy to answer anything for you. Hey, Dean, you win again because the dog was awesome, man. So I think we're going to have a puppy day. A Collision Hub puppy day where we just all bring our dogs on Zoom. So that made my day, made me smile when I saw the dog. So everybody have a fantastic rest of the day, and I will see you all again tomorrow. Thanks.